I'm Eliza Minden, co-founder and head of design at Gaynor Minden. Gaynor Minden is an international dancewear company based in New York, best known for our innovative point shoe, the first successful modernization of the ballerina's iconic footwear. Over the past 30 years, I've met dancers, teachers, and directors from ballet schools and companies all over the world. I've never encountered an organization that approaches ballet and the teaching and performing of ballet the way New American Youth Ballet does. Ballet has so much to offer young people. It teaches discipline, courtesy, respect, perseverance, attentiveness, and teamwork. It builds strong, healthy bodies, and it creates joy. Joy for the dancer and joy for the audience. New American Youth Ballet operates from a set of values that are all too rare these days. Its mission statement includes the words achievement, courage, morality. It offers first-rate training and performance opportunities to children from all backgrounds, not just the privileged few, but it's more than just inclusive. At NAYB, kindness is mandatory, and in its supportive and encouraging environment, students learn to be good people as well as good dancers. This is an extraordinary organization and one of the reasons New York is a great city. It deserves a permanent home here.
Back to the adventures of my ballerina and me. Today we're privileged to be here with the maestro of the Metropolitan Opera House, American Ballet Theater, David LaMarche, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For
my pleasure.
Inviting us here. And
Right here is where the musicians go in to play. They play. That's where they call it the pit. That's where they play the orchestra, right? Yeah. They enter from both sides, this side and the other side too.
You have to stand at something?
Yeah, stand on a big. It's a big podium. It's called a podium. Yeah, and that's what I stand on to make me higher so we can see me. Right? Go ahead. Back here is where all the percussion players play, you know, xylophone, triangle, you heard some this afternoon, tambourine.
What do you think is the biggest instrument in the whole entire orchestra?
The biggest one probably,
Like the biggest?
this one right here, bass drum. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, the biggest is the tuba that the brass players play. Otherwise. So they also, all the brass players play over here. The woodwind players play. See the harp in the distance there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the string players all on the other side there.
What about the cello?
Yeah, on the other side. Right near the harp where the harp is. That's where they all sit.
how many rehearsals does the orchestra have?
It's different for every piece. Like Swan Lake is in our repertoire every year. So actually, this year we only had one rehearsal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they've played it so many times they know it really well. So we had one rehearsal that was 3 hours.
Okay.
And
okay.
then we just went right into the show from there.
And was that rehearsal, of course, with the dancers or just an orchestra
That one
rehearsal?
wasn't with the dancers, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had one in the afternoon with the dancers, but with a pianist playing the score.
I see.
Yeah.
Just to set the tempos.
Yeah, sometimes we do that. Mostly we use the orchestra for our dress rehearsals, but if it's something that's in the rep a long time,
Yes.
then we don't actually.
And all the players are consistent through the years? Do you have a lot of, like, sometimes newcomers that...
Yeah, they're consistent unless they decide to retire or
Sure.
take a year off or whatever, then we have to find somebody else.
That's a
And the
pretty
string-
amazing gig.
Oh yeah, and it's a great gig. I mean, this 8 weeks it's actually grueling too, but I mean, it's, you know, because you have one ballet, then the next one, and the next one. We rehearse the next one coming up in the week that we're performing one and all that, so it's, you know.
And why do you think Swan Lake is like everybody's ultimate ballet? Why is this the one that's the big one?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's a great story. It's very dramatic. The music is fantastic. Music is familiar to most people.
Yes.
And the dance, I mean, the choreography is great.
Right,
you know.
right.
The second act and the Black Swan and all that stuff. People, you know, it's so iconic now.
Yes.
Everybody knows it, you know.
And what's the most challenging ballet to conduct?
Well, see, it depends. Like, we have different ways of being challenged. I mean, musically, there are some that are very difficult, like Romeo and Juliet, Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet. The music is hard. But then there are some where it's harder for the conductor because of all different changes in tempo, something like Giselle or La Bayadere or something like that.
Those are my two favorite ballets.
Oh my God, really? Wow. See, I'll be conducting you someday.
Is it like the part with the snake?
Yeah.
And then she
Is
dies.
that everybody's
And then
favorite
she
part?
dies. That's her favorite part.
How do you conduct?
Well,
Because
so
I had a conducting stick before birth.
That was your
One
dream
time-
to get, your
one
dream gift.
time I had one for Christmas and then I put it in my sleeve
yeah.
and so I sat on it
Oh,
and
no.
I broke it.
You broke it. Yeah, I've broken a few too.
We
Actually,
rehearsed for this interview. That
Actually,
wasn't part of it.
Also the dog chewed the
Okay,
one
guys.
part.
That's going on TV.
Can we stay on point, you know?
You want to come into the room for a little bit, or?
Absolutely.
You know. Spacious dressing room. Have a seat if you want.
Thank you so much.
Yes, anywhere you want. You know.
Wow. This is a big dressing room.
Yeah.
Miguel, don't get too comfortable. Sorry. Overstay your welcome.
Well, it's such a nice room because this is obviously the dressing room for the Met Opera conductor. You know, we're just renting this now, so.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice room.
And so many occasions you've helped bail us out when we cannot find some of these beautiful ballet
Yeah.
scores. So I think Paquita, our latest
Something
search
like
was
that.
the Satinilla Ballet.
Oh yeah, that one's hard, boy. Yeah.
It's difficult and Flames of Paris. You
That's
also
another
helped
one.
us find. Why
Yeah.
do you think ballet music is so difficult sometimes to
find.
obtain?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that a lot of these ballets are old pieces from the 19th century, and of course they're not in the regular symphonic repertoire. They're just in ballet companies' repertoire. So the only people that need them are ballet companies, and so sometimes, like when we are looking for a ballet, we have all these resources. You know,
Yes.
we go to other ballet companies in Europe or in the U.S. There's a few people around the country who know a lot about this stuff. Myself, this guy in San Francisco. People are always calling us, asking us, do you know where to get this? Do you know how to get this? Whatever like that. So, yeah, and
I've always been so appreciative. You've helped us and
Well,
respond right away. It's it's
yeah.
the top of the top that I was nervous to ask you at first, but I really appreciate and to keep ballet alive is so
Well, that's the
important,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
And the
many
fact that you use live music.
We
right?
try.
You
We
try.
sell oranges
Which
and
is
chocolates
amazing.
and whatever we can
Yeah.
to work with live musicians because it's just there's nothing like it. When you see performance here and the dancers, I mean, you have the best dancers in the world. So if
Yeah.
they're holding a balance or doing multiple turns, you accommodate these things.
Yeah.
What would you advise companies and dancers in the next generation? Why is live music so important?
It's important because I think it helps the dancers to grow as artists, because then every time they get up on stage, well, first of all, there's the energy of live human beings playing.
Yes.
That's one thing. You can't deny that. That's a big thing. And then there's also, it's going to be slightly different every time when you have live music, because you have whatever, different conductor or whatever, you know. And that's good for a dancer to get used to that, because then they don't get set in one way of doing
Yes.
it, you know, which can be limiting in terms of their artistry, I think.
Can dancers at times be difficult to work with? And
Yeah, I mean, not difficult. I actually give them a lot of slack because I know how difficult it is for them. So when, I'm fairly easy to get along with, but when there's a difference, we usually try to discuss it and say, why do you, I don't know.
like a collaboration.
Collaboration,
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say, I don't mind in stuff like this or whatever, stretching a tempo, all that, but sometimes I'll say to them, it really doesn't sound that great if we do this, can you do something different or whatever.
Right.
If they can't, that's fine. But if they can, they listen,
Right,
yeah.
right. And I read you began studying piano at 10, right?
Yeah,
You
10
began-
years old,
How
yeah.
important is it for musicians to really learn how to read music?
Well, I mean, if you're going to do stuff like this,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff, of course, you have to read. Because actually, a lot of freelance musicians that come and play for us
Yes.
are what they call subs. They're just subbing for somebody
Right.
that's sick or whatever.
Right.
And subs don't get much preparation. They have to come in and read it in the show. you
Right.
know. So that's a good, if you have good reading skills, then that's, obviously really.
And you told me for some of these ballets you get one rehearsal. So they
Yeah.
really have to go home and be prepared for their first rehearsal.
Definitely.
So
If they haven't played it before, they have to. But in the classical world, yeah. I mean, otherwise, if you're a jazz musician I don't know. I think it's just a good skill to have anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's it like to keep this whole orchestra together? It's like running an army, isn't it?
I know.
mean, you have many different personalities, maybe different opinions at times.
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
everybody always easy to work with?
No.
Care to elaborate? What's it
No.
like
These
controlling
these
this?
people are. I've been working here a long time, so I know
Yes.
these people really well. So I have a good relationship with them.
Yes.
But these are like high level performers.
It's steering a big ship, right?
Yeah,
Every
and so
time.
they all have big personalities. And,
Sure.
Just but the one thing they have in common is they all want to sound good and they want it to sound good. So
Yes.
that's the thing that brings them together when you come down to it.
Well, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for having us.
You're welcome.
And I'm just going to allow, if I can, the
Yeah.
children to ask one quick question that we rehearsed.
What was the first piece you ever conducted?
I'll tell you. So the first company that I worked for in New York was Dance Theater of Harlem. And that was in 1983, and I first conducted a couple of years after I joined the company, and the first piece I ever conducted was a Balanchine ballet called Square Dance, with music by Vivaldi. That was and that was in Minnesota.
Wow.
We were on tour. It was the first one I ever conducted.
Was
Wow.
it also hard?
Was it hard? It was okay. Not hard, really, because it was pretty straightforward,
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous. My first time. But it went really well, yeah.
And I guess for a ballet conductor, you have to have a lot of it quite memorized because your eyes have to be up, which is more challenging than other things that are more.
You have to keep this in the sight lines all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just make sure. I mean, some places doesn't matter so much, but other places you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to watch.
I was watching, your eyes are up.
Yeah.
A big part of the time.
Yeah.
There's so many visual cues.
Yeah, definitely.
What is your favorite part about being a conductor, and what is your least?
Good question. My favorite part is in the show, like there are moments in the show when you feel really connected with the musicians, right? And the dancers, and you feel like it's all sort of working, right? Like this chain of energy or something. And that's my favorite moment.
Everybody's working together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you really feel it connected. Least favorite part? Well, I don't know. I mean,
The
have good days
downs.
and bad days, Some rehearsals are difficult just because of whatever. Musicians are tired or you're tired. And some performances don't quite click sometimes. So, but that's a lot of performance.
Did you always have it in your head to conduct for ballet? Was that your
No.
or did it sort of happen by fate? One thing led to the other.
It happened by fate because I started out as a class pianist.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when I moved to New York, I got hired by Harlem, Dance Theater of Harlem. Arthur Mitchell hired me. And after I was there for 2 years, he said to me, I think you would be a good conductor. Why don't you learn how to conduct? I had no, and I started to taking lessons, and then that's how I got into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did anybody in particular inspire you?
Any
through your
conductor or
career?
anything?
Who was your hero?
Oh gosh, well, there's conductors that I love, but back then I was really just on my own. I trained with some people in New York. They were like old Broadway conductors,
Oh,
So I
really?
really needed to learn the basics of how to do it.
Uh-huh.
So those are the people I actually learned how to conduct from.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
So always be prepared, right, for opportunities, because you never know where it leads.
I know.
Your first instrument was piano.
Yeah. I studied piano. Yeah. Still play, but now I do both.
Why did you choose the piano as your first instrument?
Well, like my father, my brother and I were both very musical. We listened to music a lot. We liked music. We sang. And then my father said, "Do you want to study an instrument?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, let's get you a piano. You can start on piano." And so I just took to it right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you both say thank you.
Thank
Shake
you.
hands.
Thank you.
Get up.
You're welcome.
You might
Welcome back to the adventures of My Ballerina and Me. I'm your host, Elizabeth Flores. For today, meeting someone new, we'll take a special visit to American Ballet Theater's studio company and meet with dancer Leah Balin. Leah is currently a junior in high school, and she began her ballet training at the age of 4 in her hometown of Boulder, Colorado. She studied at Boulder Ballet School, where she appeared in numerous performances alongside the company. She appeared in roles such as Clara and the Ballerina doll in the Nutcracker, and even danced the title role of Giselle. Leah competed in Youth America Grand Prix, placing in the top 12 in the junior and senior classical categories, advancing on to New York finals in 2016. Leah also competed in the Denver Ballet Guild's Young Dancers Competition, where she placed 4th in 2016 and 3rd in 2017. She has attended many summer intensive, including Houston Ballet on full scholarship and Colorado Ballet, and in September 2017, Leah began studying at American Ballet Theater's Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School under the direction of Cynthia Harvey. Here she had the opportunity of performing in Benjamin Millepied's Counterpoint for Philip Johnson. In January 2018, at the age of 16, Leah was invited to become a member of the American Ballet Theater Studio Company. We are so delighted to be here today and to hear more about her story and meet all the amazingly talented dancers at American Ballet Theater Studio Company. Let's take a look. Welcome back to the adventures of My Ballerina and Me. I'm so pleased to be here in American Ballet Theater with Leah. Thank you so much
It's a pleasure
for having us. And we loved watching you in partnering class. That looked like an amazing pas de deux. You're working on White Swan, was it?
White Swan Pop.
What's the challenges of that pas?
Probably the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah?
And like really connecting with your partner and still having accents in your movement while trying to move really slow. And
You both look beautiful together.
my partner was Thomas today.
Okay. Have you both danced a lot together, or?
We actually haven't danced that much together this year. This was our first day really partnering together.
Well, you did great. So in partnering class, do they switch off the partners? Different guy, different girl each time?
It usually stays pretty similar.
Okay.
I was partnering with an apprentice and they're not with us now.
Okay.
So I'm working with Thomas now.
Do you ever get nervous on the lifts, or if it's a new partner, like?
I wouldn't say I get nervous, but I'm just like trying to figure out in my body what's gonna work out and not work out.
Yes, helicopters used to make me nervous. You would toss me up, and I'd pray you'd catch me.
Yeah.
And that looked like, and it looks like a very elite, small group of dancers. I hear it's 12 dancers.
There's 12 of us.
So what was the audition process like? How did you come here?
So I auditioned for JKO in March of 2017.
Yes.
And then I was accepted into JKO, and so I moved to New York in September 2017.
From Colorado, right?
From Colorado.
It's a big move.
Yeah, that was. It was different being away from my family. And,
Right.
So I started at JKO and I did a semester, and then they asked me to join Studio Company in January of 2018. So I've been here since then.
Congratulations. It's a huge achievement and a dream many dancers have. And now we switch over to the ballet Coppelia. It's Swanhilda's variation from Act 1. In the first program, we see 3 dancers from the Young Dancers program of American Ballet Theater perform a group piece of this music. And in the second one, I'm dancing the variation as it is in the full-length ballet in Act 1, Swanhilda's variation. I hope you enjoy it. The old man with the cane is Dr. Coppelia, shooing away all the townspeople. He's going into his shop to cut out his prized doll, Coppelia. She looks so real that she fools a lot of the village people into thinking she's a real girl, and it causes some trouble. Coppelia is comedy ballet in 3 acts. So the first variation in the ballet is Swanhilda's variation. She's trying to catch the attention of the doll Coppelia. But to no avail, as Coppelia, you know, is just a doll. I will see you at the New American Youth Ballet Dance Center. Thank you so much for watching.